Hello everyone. Welcome back. Today, we've got some crucial news you don't want to miss. Let's dive right into the top financial headlines and break down what's happening. Title: Blinders on, but be prepared. In 2016, Fed took note of Trump's plans. According to Reuters, Trump's sweeping economic proposals have stirred discussions on Wall Street. Not only is Reuters covering this issue, but so are the Wall Street Journal and The Economist. With Trump's ambitious economic policies laid out, the Federal Reserve is unlikely to ignore their impact. Although the Fed remains an independent entity, its mandate requires balancing or even counteracting policies like Trump's to maintain economic stability, as mandated by U.S. law and historical precedent. So, how will the Fed respond to Trump's economic strategy this time around? The answer holds significance for investors worldwide, especially as the Fed may adjust its policies in response to Trump's return to office. This isn't political gossip, but a critical issue of market risk. In 2016, after Trump's victory, the Fed anticipated his policies would be expansionary, requiring balancing measures like rate hikes. Despite Trump's requests for restraint, the Fed implemented 3 rate increases in 2017. Now, with Trump back, we may see a similar dynamic. Minneapolis Fed President Neel Kashkari voiced his concerns this weekend, highlighting potential cost pressures on businesses from Trump's immigration and tariff policies. Such factors, he said, might drive inflation upward. Kashkari's remarks hint at a shift in the Fed's approach, aiming to balance Trump's fiscal moves without undermining economic growth and inflation control. In its latest rate cut decision, the Fed removed language about inflation nearing 2% and indicated it might not reduce rates further, even if inflation reaches target levels. This measured response by the Fed suggests it's preparing for a possible tug-of-war with Trump's expansionary policies. For investors and economists alike, this report is a forward-looking analysis of international capital markets, making it a topic well worth exploring. In today's global political headlines, Bloomberg reports that the Kremlin has denied any recent phone call between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump, stating no meetings are currently planned. This denial comes after the Washington Post reported a significant story yesterday, alleging that Trump had spoken with Putin last Thursday about European peace efforts. According to the report, Trump urged Putin to avoid escalating actions in Ukraine, suggesting a pause until Trump's potential return to office, and hinted at the strong U.S. military presence in Europe. This story quickly gained international attention, leading multiple media outlets to seek comments from Trump's campaign team. By last night, Trump's team released a statement neither confirming nor denying the report but emphasizing Trump's commitment to his Ukraine strategy. This non-denial has fueled speculation that the Washington Post report might be accurate. Today, the Kremlin branded the report as fake news. However, this denial comes amid heightened tensions. Putin launched the largest airstrikes on Ukraine in recent months, employing numerous cruise missiles. Observers noted the timing, questioning why Putin might escalate his offensive if Trump had allegedly advised restraint. In denying the phone call, Russia might be aiming to clarify that yesterday's intensified airstrikes weren't intended to defy Trump or provoke him. Without this clarification, the narrative could grow that Putin disregards Trump entirely. With this story now unfolding from multiple angles, it's certainly one to watch closely. Amid global political news dominated by the US election, Germany is experiencing a significant government crisis that has drawn attention across Europe. Bloomberg reports that German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has opened the door for a confidence vote in Parliament before Christmas, under pressure from opposition parties to resolve the leadership struggle. The article notes that Scholz's ruling coalition fractured last week over disagreements on Ukraine spending, leading Scholz to dismiss his finance minister, a member of the Free Democratic Party. Scholz had hoped to delay the confidence vote until January, giving time for new policies aimed at boosting voter support. However, the opposition Christian Democratic Union, CDU, led by Friedrich Merz, the former party of Chancellor Angela Merkel, has been pushing for an immediate vote to prevent what they see as Scholz's attempt to win over voters with favorable policies before a potential new election. After back-and-forth negotiations, Scholz and Merz tentatively agreed to hold the vote in late December. If Scholz's government loses, Germany could face a general election as early as January, potentially ushering in Merz as the next chancellor. This unfolding crisis reflects the dynamic nature of Germany's political landscape and is reshaping the direction of Europe's largest economy. For those interested in international affairs, staying updated on Germany's political developments is essential, as each day brings new twists in the ongoing power struggle. The fourth article to share with you: Bloomberg recently published an analysis on how Donald Trump's re-election could fundamentally shift the American judicial landscape, with lasting effects well beyond his potential second term. While much of the election discussion focuses on policies and executive orders, which can be more easily reversed, Trump's judicial appointments, many of which are lifetime positions, could solidify a conservative direction for the American courts for decades to come. Trump's first term saw a rapid filling of federal judicial vacancies with conservative judges, dramatically reshaping the ideological balance of the judiciary, particularly in the appellate courts. These courts are essential, as they often make the final rulings on high-stakes issues such as financial regulations, immigration, reproductive rights, and other matters that shape the fabric of American society. Should Trump return to office, he would have another opportunity to appoint conservative judges, especially to the federal appellate courts, where current projections suggest that around 63 judges might retire in the next presidential term. This would allow him to cement a robust conservative influence on cases affecting everything from corporate regulations to civil liberties. According to Brookings Institution data, among these anticipated vacancies, approximately 34 seats are held by judges appointed by Republicans, with 29 appointed by Democrats. This turnover would likely result in more conservative-leaning courts, with Trump potentially appointing nearly half of these positions, pushing the appellate courts even further to the right. Such a shift could establish a stronghold on decisions involving fundamental issues, thereby creating legal precedents that would constrain future administrations from implementing progressive reforms. This looming judicial impact has prompted intense debates within the Republican Party, particularly around Senate leadership. Trump has indicated a strong preference for a Senate Majority Leader who would prioritize and support his judicial appointments without hesitation. High-profile figures, including Elon Musk, have backed Florida Senator Rick Scott, a staunch conservative with a track record of alignment with Trump's judicial philosophy. Scott, who has openly supported Trump's stance on judicial appointments, has emerged as a possible candidate for Republican Senate leadership, further adding to the political stakes. Bloomberg's report also highlights how the Democrats are responding to Trump's potential judicial appointments. Some within the party are calling for preemptive moves, like nominating Vice President Kamala Harris to the Supreme Court or encouraging President Biden to elevate her to the presidency so she could make key judicial appointments. The report points to a widespread sense of urgency among both parties, as they recognize the far-reaching implications of judicial appointment on America's legal and political landscape. Ultimately, the analysis shows that regardless of differing opinions on Trump's judicial strategy, the opportunity to reshape the courts represents one of the most significant aspects of his campaign. This influence, Bloomberg notes, would be far-reaching, likely shaping U.S. laws and policies for generations and ensuring a strong conservative influence in the judiciary. For anyone trying to understand the long-term consequences of the upcoming election, this potential shift in the judicial landscape is one of the most critical, albeit less visible, dynamics at play. Finally, the Wall Street Journal recently published a comprehensive look at Donald Trump's key campaign pledges, outlining the 9 main areas where he plans to focus if he wins a second term. This report sheds light on Trump's objectives and approach in areas ranging from immigration to climate policy, illustrating how his agenda could significantly impact both domestic and foreign affairs. 1. Immigration. Trump has made immigration a central part of his campaign, aiming to appoint a border czar to enforce strict border security and prevent illegal immigration. His immigration agenda includes large-scale deportations of undocumented immigrants, a pledge he considers a cornerstone of his platform. Trump also plans to reinstate some of his earlier policies, such as travel bans on certain countries with majority Muslim populations, likely with an expanded list. Additionally, he would bring back the Remain in Mexico policy, requiring asylum seekers to wait in Mexico until their cases are processed in the U.S. Unlike his first term, when many of his immigration policies were blocked by courts, recent legal precedents may strengthen his position to enforce them. 2. Taxes. Trump's tax plan revolves around new tax cuts aimed at reducing the burden on individuals and businesses. He has promised tax exemptions for tips, overtime pay, and social benefits, and has suggested eliminating taxes on retirement income, which could resonate with a broad range of voters. However, his immediate priority is extending the corporate tax cuts he introduced in 2017, set to expire soon. Implementing these tax policies may face hurdles in Congress, particularly regarding how they would be funded. 3. Deregulation of business and finance. Trump plans to reduce regulations across various industries, which is popular among business leaders. He especially aims to roll back financial regulations, providing Wall Street with greater flexibility, a move that would likely be met with support from financial institutions. 4. National security and defense. Strengthening national security is a top priority. Trump seeks to bolster the country's defenses, focusing on domestic security and reduced reliance on foreign alliances that require extensive U.S. involvement. 5. Foreign policy. Trump's foreign policy agenda includes 3 main areas: relations with China, Middle East policies, and Ukraine. China. Trump proposes imposing tariffs exceeding 60% on Chinese imports. However, some influential figures, like Elon Musk, have questioned the feasibility of this tariff level. There are indications that the final rate could be negotiated, making it a topic to watch. Middle East. While Trump's stance on Iran is more aggressive than Biden's, he shares Biden's reluctance to increase U.S. military involvement in the region, preferring instead to support Israel in regional conflicts. Ukraine. Trump's approach to Ukraine remains uncertain, though he has expressed caution in escalating U.S. involvement. His son's recent social media criticisms of Ukrainian President Zelensky have added a layer of tension to this position, which has stirred apprehension in Europe about potential shifts in U.S. support. 6. Energy. Trump is skeptical about a rapid transition to clean energy, instead favoring the continued use of traditional energy sources. This stance contrasts sharply with current trends toward renewable energy and aligns more with oil and gas industry interests. 7. Healthcare. Trump has revised his approach to healthcare, indicating that he no longer intends to repeal the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, outright. Instead, he aims to reform it, particularly by addressing high pharmaceutical costs, relaxing regulations on drug development, and accelerating the approval of new treatments. 8. Climate policy. Trump may again withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord, highlighting his focus on economic over environmental priorities in addressing climate change. 9. Trade and tariffs. Tariffs are central to Trump's trade policy. Recently, Republican Senator Rick Scott, who Trump favors for Senate Majority Leader, raised a procedural question about the tariff hikes, suggesting that the Senate may require 60 votes to pass them. This threshold could make Trump's tariff policy more challenging, as it would require some Democratic support. These 9 policy areas provide insight into Trump's strategy, focusing on strengthening national security, promoting economic growth through deregulation and tax cuts, and shifting the balance of power on immigration and judicial appointments. This framework highlights how Trump's potential return to office could steer the U.S. in a markedly different direction across multiple sectors. That's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.